I'm out in the water, come jump right in, 'cause we going farther than we ever been. I'm out in the water, come jump right in, we going farther than we ever been.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back. Ocean Waves episode. Let's see if that holds up for a little bit. 55. Ocean Waves episode 55. Sweet. Appreciate anyone who's watching. Appreciate anyone who sees it in the future. Anyone who's been rocking with it since the beginning. Appreciate you for sure. My name is Reyen, Indigo Ryan the Navigator, here to chop it up a little bit. My dad dropped in and gave me a new phone. Not the new phone. One of I don't even know what it is, 12 or 13 or some shit like that. But I think it might be a 12 or something. I don't know. I had an 8. And he asked me, last week, we were at the baseball game, for his little birthday celebration, went to the baseball game and got dinner a couple days later, but we went to the baseball game and he was like, hey, you need a phone? You need a new phone? I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll just rock with this one until it dies. And I had this one, the 8, for at least 4 years, probably more. And I like the button, truth be told. I like the phone. Nothing was really wrong with it. It seemed to work normal. Then when we met up for dinner, he pulled up and he just dropped the new phone off. It's got a scratch on it. It's like a used phone or whatever. I don't really care. I appreciate it 100%. Don't get me wrong. Appreciate it, but I was just pushed into the newer age of technology, I guess. Losing out on the button and just the newer technology, the 3 cameras on the back versus just the 1. So now though, I think Jason and I have the same phone, so the video quality should be pretty similar each episode now because I got a newer phone now. So I guess that is a positive. It does seem to be smoother, and the battery on this one lasts so much longer than my other phone. So, in the end, I guess it's good. Good perks to it. But still, I still like the idea of using something until its completion and not necessarily needing being someone who needs an upgrade or needs this and that. It's just use what you got, and then when it's time to move on, it's time to move on to the next thing. And I guess that's what happened. I didn't choose it, but it was presented to me upon me. So shit. So here we go. Got the new phone or newer phone. So hopefully all the video quality should be great from here on out. And yeah, shit. What to say today, man? Truth be told, I'm in this space that I'm not really sure exactly what I should do. I have my schedule. I go to work, and but the days that I don't, how should I be spending my time? What should I be focusing on? Because I talked about before, I feel like I had this palette of different artistic visions and abilities and attributes to me, and I can express them in different ways, and I just don't know what's worth spending the time on currently. If I was to write 3 short films, are there enough people around that would want to sacrifice some of their time to make them happen, as far as the recording and all that stuff. So it's if I spend my time writing these, then it's but then I can't manifest them into the next thing. Then what's the point of spending time on them right now? Maybe I should be spending some time on something else. I think that comes back to the music. Just go make some more music. Have newer music to listen to and vibe off of and stuff. So I think that's probably what I should lock into is just make some more music. Of course, do the pod once a week. I was debating what to do tonight, if I should do it, put it out because I already missed. Like Friday, like is not really the day to put them out, like just because it's the weekend and blah blah blah. But it's still the same. Like it gets like 10 views. So the 10 of you who are really watching, like I really appreciate you. You know what I mean? Like that's fucking love for real. So, and then there's ones that have way more views, and some they kind of average to 30 or whatever. So, I don't know. I'm just like, what should I do? Should I I mean, make music, like obviously, like always make music, because I think that's like as much as I make music for like I feel like the world, like I also make music for me, like that I can listen to and I can, digest my. That sounded weird. I can hear myself back and the feelings and you know think back on what I was going through when I made this song to what I am now. You know, and yeah, I like I know I'm supposed to be the positive one around. Keep pushing the positive energy. Don't get dragged down into more negative, lower frequency vibration. But sometimes for right now it just feels sort of empty, I guess, in the sense for me. Just like I don't know. I feel like I guess they tell you in life like you go to high school or whatever and you have your friends and you grow apart and there might be a couple friends here and there that stick with you. But it feels like I don't know, why is it really like that? Why do we all just like go into our lives and then kind of like I mean, I guess I can't speak for everyone because I feel like I still like I know people like still see each other, you know. But I feel like why do we let ourselves grow apart in the sense of not communicate or like have like a time where everyone meets up, and it's like important for everyone to meet up and connect. Like why do we kind of just let it go down these paths where you get your job and then you meet your person that you want to be with and then maybe you have kids and a family and you kind of like go on this individual journey, which everyone has their own individual journey in this life, their path, uh their purpose, their reason for being here, you know. But still I feel like life is meant to be with others, to spend these moments, these share this energy, reciprocate love back and forth, things like that. Like I feel like we're supposed to be connected and not disconnected, but so maybe there's a couple people I should maybe just reach out to or whatever. Maybe it's not like I'm always just reaching out and no one's hitting me back. It's just more or less like I think when I'm in the areas and you're around and then it's like, they don't, you know, they don't want to connect, kind of, it's tough sometimes, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know why. Why do we isolate, I guess? Why do we isolate ourselves or, push away in certain senses instead of like doing whatever we can to keep it connected? And maybe I'm not, maybe it is for me too. Maybe I don't reach out enough or whatever, but I just feel like, I don't know. Maybe because I moved away. But even around here, like even the few people that are around, it's like, there's probably like one or two that I'll see like frequently, and like on the week to week, But and I don't know. I got love. I got love for everyone, and I think I'm just in the space like what really what should I be? Where should I put my energy and focus? You know, because each of these different things, there's things that are good, that are beneficial. So, but what's the how beneficial? If we're gonna compare them, the measure of them, what's more beneficial for me to be spending my time on and doing? You know, I don't know. I think it's been a tough year for me, but just like growing pains wise, just like growing through things and learning and these different feelings and emotions, um for to get to the next point of where I'm going to be at and how like just life, like me, how do I grow, what do I because if I'm not at my absolute perfect self, which is unrealistic because there's no perfection, but if you're operating on max, like you're giving everything you're doing everything you can at each moment, and each if it's a words or a gesture or action or uh, a non-action in certain cases can speak loud. You know, uh, if I'm not operating, if I don't feel like great, if I don't feel like super good or like serene, I guess. Like, how do we get there, and how do I? And I think it's part fulfillment. Am I doing things that are fulfilling? Am I on the progression of my purpose? Am I in line with my purpose, what I'm supposed to be doing? Uh, am I not? Am I protecting myself from outside influences that uh tell you not to do or that are trying to hold you down? And then you kind of let those things happen and not push through that wall to get to that space where you're just operating and doing, even if it seems like to everyone else that it's not what you're not supposed to be doing this, but really, deep down you are, for good reasons, good intentions, stuff that, like I saw somebody like moved across the country because their dad died and told him, like, promise you to go on stage and do like stand up or whatever. So he's doing it, and he's like 50, and most people are gonna be like, that's so, like, why would you uproot everything you're doing, blah blah blah, when you're 50? But that's just what he felt like, and there's a potential that could work out way better than whatever the situation was at current before, or maybe it evens out, or maybe his financial situation is great, but his life situation might be better. Overall genuine happiness and enjoyment for being alive and being around other people and things like that. So that's something that maybe on the outside it looks like he's crazy for doing that, selling his house, buying an RV and shit. But if he sleeps better at the end of the day in that RV versus in his house in California or whatever, then what who's to say that that's wrong? So I feel like, I don't know. I think music. I think for me, if I'm just gonna answer to myself, I think music is, because it's something that I can. It's like it will always be a part of me, and the feeling usually, like, I always feel better after I make music. And I think that's just make more music, and maybe that should be the focus. And then in the in betweens, like but stop myself from scrolling or looking on the social or doing, especially because my algorithm is like polluted. They're just polluted, and I can see it, and I still like be on it. Like, why am I on it if I know I'm getting polluted? So just get like in those in between. Okay, like I'm kind of like, how do I make it easier for me to get into a creative space that's not so monumental in the sense of like music. Like if I'm gonna be doing music like that's like everything I'm doing. But if it's like if I'm in the car and we're driving and I'm not driving, like instead of like looking at the games or the scores or whatever or text or whatever, instead of looking at that, how do I make it more accessible for me to get into a creative space where I can just like write out like a little paragraph of the story or look at the outline of the story and think of some ideas and whatever and like don't have to be so in it to because it's like always growing. And I think so. I think for me, maybe I should figure out what tools can I get? Maybe like a little voice recorder thing, And yeah, you have your phone with whatever, but I don't want like that podcast is cool because I know I'm recording this to put out, and it's like whatever. But like certain things you don't want uh to be heard necessarily or to be recorded uh for purposes of the idea isn't fully formed yet, and you want to or you might have the chance to whatever, and next thing you know, you see your idea out there, so different things like that. So I don't know, yeah. I remember it was funny. My dad was like, he was like, yeah, this one's great. You can use your facial recognition, so you don't even need a password or whatever. And I was like, I don't want to use the facial recognition. And then he was like, oh, it's great. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I understand that it might be convenient, but I ain't trying to do it. And now the argument is that they do it anyway. But at least I didn't say like, I didn't just fully give away all my permission to do it. Like, they're just gonna do it anyway. But at least I said, nah, like nah. I didn't just willingly whatever. So at the end of the day, you can't be like, oh well, you allowed us to do it, And then I didn't do Siri, even though Siri's still there, So, but it's cool though. I gotta look up what the little features are on the phone that I didn't really pay attention to because I'm not like all the new phones out or the new car or the new this, and I'm like, how do we longevity? Like, how do I get the most out of this shoe, out of this pair of clothes, out of this phone, out of this car, out of this, out of this meal, or out of these groceries, or out of out of this life, longevity. How do I get there? How do I get there and not quickly, in the sense of like enjoying the process and not looking back and being like, damn, I like missed it, And I think I've done really well at being present and, and as of late, like there's been moments where I've kind of swayed off, but I described it to a couple people. I said, I feel like I got sent on I got put on like a cruise, and I didn't sign up for the cruise. I just like somehow ended up on the boat, and I just went around to the different islands, and there's different emotions and these different things. And then now I'm back from the cruise, and I'm just dealing with the experience, and then growing, learning things I would do differently. Next time a situation happens, how do I, how do I stay up? How do I stay positive? How do I stay whatever? Stay free, stay flowing. Those are the goals. Like, because I know that when I'm operating on a high frequency and I'm resonating, I feel like, not ignorantly, I feel like I definitely, just based off people's inner, like what they say to me when I'm around them, is like usually positive things, like very like appreciative in some ways, and I know that I'm raising the roof, right? But I definitely think I'm also in the fact of like, in some ways I'm easily forgotten, I think. And like the way, and like how much I do influence So it's like when you're around, you're like, oh yeah, 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 it's not. I remember, but then when I leave, like for whatever reason, it doesn't. It's not lasting. I guess not for. This is not for everyone. This is just for most, I guess. Because there's people in my life that I love you. You know I love you, and and I know that you love me. So for those people, like but for most, like it just feels like I've just have connected with so many people over time and known so many people that it's just sometimes it's like almost barren. It's like how did we get so how did the how did this field get so empty? You know, and what did I do to cause it? Is it the nature of life right now? Is it be, the how the world is set up? But I feel like at the end of the day, we're meant to connect. We're not supposed to be divided. You know, and right now in the country, that's what they do. They put you to either red or blue. You pick a side. You know, and one side thinks they're right. The other side, no matter who's wearing the jersey, that side of people will be like, I'm rooting for them or I like them. But you don't like. There's no like. There shouldn't be two sides. There should be multiple people with the opportunity to win the election, and And I think after the last debate, I think Trump now knows that what he thought might have been a cakewalk isn't going to be a cakewalk. She's actually going to put up probably a good fight because she has a lot of help. She has a lot of, you know, if she was wearing the earrings with the fucking like the headphone earring things, like, and it makes sense to me why she was so like sharp on it, you know. But their plan was to like get under his skin and make him say some wild shit, which he did, you know. So it's like, so I definitely think it's gonna be close. It's gonna with the mail-in ballots too, like like that's a slippery slope right there. We saw what happened in the last one, and who knows? Like, I don't know, man. This shit's it's so sad, honestly, very sad to watch and to see, and it's crazy because like if you bring up the conversation, like a very beautiful conversation can turn so negative so quick because of like where people stand on the different things and how people get when you talk about politics and stuff. It's always like this, like it has become this like gladiator war battle versus like a peaceful uh seminar where you're giving off why you think boom boom you're listening and we're figuring out what is the best route for people in humanity, but instead we're in a place that's run by money and influence and things like that. So I don't know, it's definitely sad. Like I think we could do better as a whole. I think there's you know but for me personally, like I see one side and I see the other side, and it's scary to see how other people think. That's where I think I'm at with it. It's scary to see how other people are influenced and how other people follow the different paths and the different things and listen to the different things and taking those frequencies, those influences and storylines and whatever, the news and shit. And it's not, you can't really, no one, no one, you're not getting like a fully truthful article or a news story or whatever. There's always going to be fabrication. There's always going to be added drama. And there's always going to be, ploys to destroy, to bring other people down, public whatever their perception is, the public perception of this person. They're gonna rise to build them up and bring them down, and even if something's not true, and if you say it, then someone might believe it. And if they're on the fence between two sides, it might influence them to one side. And I think that's the big thing too, because you're gonna have a bunch of people who feel like, oh, I need to vote, like this is important and whatever. But who do I pick? Like this person is this, and they're both not that great option, I don't think. But then you see like a little commercial that this person did that, or someone with influence or people that listen to it say, oh, this person did this, and now you're like, okay, yeah, I don't support that, so I'm gonna go vote for this person, but you don't know what that person did, you know, and on top of that, you have the mail-in ballots. So realistically, you could have like an empty home, and they're like, oh, and just be like, that person, this home voted, right? This property voted, this piece of, because we sent this mail to this property, and then who's going to check all these millions of houses, or how do you follow it back where it's like this person, like that this was a actual citizen of the United States voting, so I don't know. I don't want to keep bringing myself into this conversation. I mean, it's going to be big. Obviously, it's coming down. It's in the last 50 days now. 50 days left to it, or however much, 40 something. So it's coming. It's coming soon. It's coming soon for sure. And time's going by, man. We're already in September. And I don't feel like New Year's was right around, so close away, but it's just I can see time going. And I'm like, do I feel accomplished? I mean, I do. I mean, we hit 52 up. We're at 55 now. We've hit the episodes. The podcast still goes. This is one of those things where I'm always going to do it. And I think I just need to figure out, I need to get on it earlier. And then if another one spawns where someone else wants to come chat or whatever, then cool. We'll record that one. But I think for now, I need to get myself to do it at earlier date than right now, just so I can get them out by Wednesday, because I really do want to have it on Wednesday at noon. I think it's the best time for ocean. It makes sense. Ocean waves Wednesdays at noon. It makes sense. It feels good. It's right. It gives a place where I'm going to be here at this time, this date, every week. Boom, So that's another thing I need to get on. And I hope that these things, I hope that I'm translating in a way that people, if you're watching, if you have something that you're trying to go through or figure out or whatever, you're not alone in it, or I can help God, just give you the little things where it's maybe I just, okay, it's not working all the way right, functionally. How do I do better? And you try it, and maybe I should try it Sundays, or like Jason said, try to get myself to wake up Tuesday morning. But I don't know. But their schedule kind of changed, so I don't know the logistics of that exactly. But things like that. So maybe I do in some ways self-critical. How do I get myself operating at a higher level? Not that the level I'm at isn't good, but it could be better. And if I'm not feeling at optimum, how do I get there? And what should I do? And I think it's probably for me is to make some more music and to get this podcast out on Wednesdays at noon, so I don't feel the burden of it, or the certain little failure of not doing it. But yeah, I don't know. So I think as far as the election goes, everyone's gonna have their own opinion, but it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely far from over, and we'll see how it goes down. But very interesting times, everyone. Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm in this phase where I'm not sure exactly what I want to do next. I did buy Astrobot and I started playing it. It is fun and whatever, but video games only hold me so long. So it's like I just got to start doing more productive things so I feel more accomplished and fulfilled each day. Uh, appreciate the little moments even more. Try to find the meaning in each of these moments and, enjoy life, the being, the ups and downs, because that's what makes life beautiful, you know? And what's out of your control is out of your control, you know? So, and I definitely need to figure out how do I, in the in between moments, not let those slip away to Instagram or Snapchat or ESPN app. You know, how do I, those little moments, how do I maximize those and get something out of it to help progress? Progress ideas, progress myself, progress the world, you know, because in some ways we're in this loop, and it's the end of the 4 year right here. We're coming back to another thing, and yeah, or that's all I was in yeah, it's just you're in this. It becomes this thing and it's been growing for years now, but now it's very apparent how like how sided the United States is, where it's the United States, but we're divided between these two fictional things, you know, and you don't, if you go on Google, you're not gonna get a honest search. There's gonna be, if you look up this thing, they're gonna give you uh the propaganda first. They're gonna give you like the headline of this, the negative of this, and if they want to boost this person, they're gonna give the positive of that, give the positive. So for like the everyday person who might just look up something and look at the first three little articles or whatever and do quick searches, they can easily be influenced by those little headlines and those little things versus like you search something up and it's like all what's actually the most visited maybe is the most popular, but it's not. There's no tier system where you can push like a good article down 10 pages. Like a good article is going to be on the first page because it's a good article and people will see it and they're going to whatever. It's not like you got to go jump through fucking like a huge cheese pit to get to the bottom to grab a penny. It's like here's the pool, here's the pennies, go look at the pennies, and the one that shines the best, the most is gonna be found, so it's always gonna push through. But the way the algorithms are set up and whatever agendas that need to be pushed and blah blah blah, those are gonna be the ones that get that get the higher view, the higher listings, the higher, when you look it up, this is what you see or what people see. And not a lot of people dive deep to figure something out. They kind of just take the surface, whatever they're given. They just, whatever gets put on their plate, they eat it instead of like investigating what they're actually eating, So, yeah, I definitely would like to get back to having people like right now I think Jason's making music and stuff, so you know but I definitely like having another person to talk to, but it's cool. I feel like I don't feel like it's not bad. I think it's good. I'm getting this time. I'm just speaking to myself too in some way. I know it's recorded. I know it's going to be out there for people to hear and listen to, and then either receive, judge, whatever. That's like I'm putting myself in that space. However, I am just speaking out loud to me too, and I'm getting this time where I'm conversating with myself. So it's not the worst. It's not a bad thing. I think I just enjoy it I enjoy conversing with other people. I enjoy connecting. I enjoy that aspect of life. I really do. I think that's kind of where I get down about like connections that may have fallen out or this and that, because it's like I do feel like I'm here to connect with people and to, bring people together and to grow and pursue a life of peace and harmony and, passion. things like that. But it just feels like, maybe it's not me, maybe it's the people, maybe it's me and it's not the people, maybe it's I'm fighting a battle that's so uphill that whatever. But so I think for me that's probably why I get so like it hits that punch hits the most. It might not be the one to the face, it might be the one to the gut or whatever, to the heart. That might hurt a little more than the one to the face or whatever. Things like that. The little bruises that happen throughout the day, little things. So like, rent, taxes, things like that. Like that might sudden bills that might pop up and shit. But I don't know. I think right now I'm watching some just like dope visual thing. And so maybe I should try to make one of these. Put some music behind it. But yeah, maybe I should get on my drawing thing. I don't know. For sure music. For sure get the podcast out on Wednesdays at noon. And the other stuff will kind of just let it fall how the cards may. But I'm definitely curious to see how what's gonna happen in the future. I'm definitely excited for the present. I enjoy the moments, and I think I really just want to get to a point where I'm feeling good, operating at a high level, all the time, and not just in certain times. And I hope we connect with more people, and over in the next year, what we're building up to is greater than what I can even see, and knowing that I'm gonna do the things that take the steps that are necessary for me to be in the position that I need to be in when the moment arises, so that it doesn't just pass through and I don't just let it slip through my fingers. I grab it, I hold on to it, I curate it how I need to, I let it go into the world, I take an energy I need, I reciprocate the energy that I'm supposed to give out, and not get sucked in and dragged down to negative frequencies and negative, emotional states, and just try to be as good as I can be, and just be as positive as I can be, and to do everything that I can, and it takes me to do that. No one's stopping me. I can, do what I want. And I think even right now, this was because I was really in the space like, oh, should I just do it in the morning and see if Jason wants to do it? But then when do I put it out? Do I just skip this week and put it? And I was like, I was like, no, go get your laptop, open up the laptop, set up the mics, hit record, and just do a pod, and do it, because I wasn't gonna feel better not doing it. So I did it. Here I am doing it. And maybe it's not the best one ever, maybe it is, hopefully this resonates in some way, And I do really love, I love the ones where we're laughing and joking around, and I do love that. I think that's such a beautiful podcast aspect, like the comedy aspect. But recently it's been me, so I'm just in this space, and I'm trying to climb out of the negative spaces that I'm in, and also align and focus and raise my output, and not numbers wise to be like, oh, look how much I've done, but to be like, look at what I've done, let me show you what I've done and what I can do, and hopefully help you see what you can do, and and together we can maybe do something even greater than that, and hopefully this domino effects to the people, to the world, and we find a way to regain control over the masses, in the sense of not letting like pharmaceutical companies run advertisements and pollute false stories and uh in some like memes are great. Like we've all loved memes, but we've come into this meme world where even like the news is memed. Well, they'll, put out like just un we've never had we've never all we've ne- it's never been transparent. I feel like we need transparency. We need uh people need the ability to receive the information, truthful information, and be able to make assessments in their own way without being influenced by thought pattern and agendas and control with fear and money and things like that, you know. But for now, we're in this space, we're in this place. Money makes the world go around. We're in election year. There's wars going on, There's sports still going on. There's people having great times, people having bad times, you know. But I always feel like there's always hope for peace. There's always hope for the world, the people ascending to that next level, that higher dimension of connectivity and together, and what we can do with our bodies and what we can do with our minds and our souls, and the power that we have together as people with love is something so strong. And I think that, when we get lost in this everyday world of like, I have to go to work and oh, this and that, and then like, oh, the new phone, or this one's faster than this one, or like, oh, if I just do this, I can get to that, and then now I'll be nice. If I just have this rocking chair, I'll be nice. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, it's all screwed anyway. Fuck it. And then we just party it away. It's like so easy to get lost in those things and to get distracted by, sad news. And this is like, oh my, I can't believe this happened. It's like, but they want you to, like, why is there another school shooting? Why is there a school shooting that happened that didn't get reported and this one did? Why are we in this space? But then every once in a while you get hit with another one, and it's gonna, and then have some people take it harder than others. Some people who are close to the situation, they take it whatever, but then we just move on and then time goes by, and then boom, here's another one, and then boom, here's another one, and it's like, when do we say enough is enough? And and I think that together is how we do it, and uh and getting people together to accomplish goals and to uh push each other to bring out the best in each other, to maximize each other's potential, to do everything possible to leave the world in a better place than how you found it, for your kids and the next generation to be able to grow up and live and continue on, and for you to come back and do the same thing, or something different, but aligned with what you're like, just what we're here. Everyone's here to do something. Everyone's got a different tune, a different sound, a different, energy, but together it's one, and it's a beautiful thing, man. It is. It really is, So I think for me, being like in a space where I feel isolated, it's it's lonesome sometimes, feels barren sometimes, feels cold, But I think that's what I have to understand, is that's not forever. That's not how it's gonna always be. It's just what it is right now, so I can gather what I need to gather in this space and move and progress through it and get to the other side. So if I meet someone else in this space, I know what to say, or the advice I can give or the information to help navigate them to get to the path so they need, that they know is their path, so they can get through it and they can whatever, and show them there's another way, or show them that it will, or just to reassure them that at the very least reassure them that it will be okay. It's not the end. It's not the end of the line. It will be okay. You will be good. Things will get better. Some things will happen, but things will get better. Overall, if you truly want them to be, and you make the necessary steps within yourself and within the world to to have that thing happen. But if you continue doing the same old things expecting change, like, it's not gonna change. Like, if you don't learn the lesson, it's gonna happen again. You're gonna have the opportunity to learn the lesson. If you don't learn it, it's gonna happen again, and it might get worse every time, or it might be the same every time. But life's gonna put those things in front of you so you can learn those lessons for you to grow and be and yeah, man. So, and I think a good example of that is like vaping. Like, I remember being in college and seeing kids like hit the vape for the first time one weekend. The next weekend, they're giving it to someone else to hit for the first time because they had bought in their own. And seeing how like how quickly people got addicted to it, and this is that. And it's like chemical, and I'm like, oh man, like, why don't we you can just smoke weed, and you're an idiot if you don't. You're an idiot. Why don't you just smoke weed? We're in college. You can find it wherever you want. Like, you're an idiot. Why are you going to do that? Like, we don't need the chemicals, blah, blah, blah. Then I graduated and moved to Georgia, and the laws obviously are like different than Maryland. So I had to adjust my living. And then when we were in Canada, like, my sister had one, and all my cousins and everyone was hitting it. And I was like, oh, like I'll just hit it a couple of times, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, I'm back in Georgia, and I'm buying these things, and I'm addicted to them, And I think that's because I was in this space where it was like, it's easier to get them. It was like, I got that like oral fixation still, with the whatever. So I wasn't missing out on the fixation part. What I was digesting, I'd rather have digested what I wanted, but at the time and whatever, I wasn't in college anymore. It wasn't right around the corner, It wasn't a fine it's like way worse if you get caught in Georgia, So it was like a life change. But the life change necessarily wasn't good, because now I'm in this space where I'm ripping the vape all this time. And it took me a while. It took me a long time. It took me like a year or two, like 2 years. Like, I was doing it for probably like a year before I was like, oh, I need to stop doing it. It took me like another year and a half to stop, Maybe, and that's probably being generous, like, too. It's probably even longer, like, how the overall distance. But now on the other side of that, I'm not in this mode where, like, if you took me back to 2016, I'm not like, oh, you're an idiot. 8 years later, I'm like, I understand where you are. I understand what it is. I understand what the feeling is. I understand. However, I don't think that you need it. It's not necessary. It's not good for you. You don't have to do it. This is how I stopped. And I have that perspective where people aren't dumb for doing it. It's unfortunate that, things that in some ways it's nice. You can be inside and just blow O's and do smoke tricks and catch a little buzz here and there. But, after the first hit of the day, that's the best buzz you get, and then the rest of the time is, So it's not really, but then it becomes part of your routine, and it's like those in between moments I was talking about, where I was like, okay, in this in between, instead of catching myself scrolling, I need to whatever, those in betweens become ripping the vape, and it can be like milliseconds. Like you have 15 free milliseconds, and that millisecond you grab the first thing you grab the vape. Oh, let me do this. Wait, where's my vape? Oh yeah, I'll go to the store with you. You just missed out. You know what I mean? So many things, and it's like, but I get it. I get it. I get the I get the nicotine part. I get the convenience. I get the adding it to your routine. I get the oral fixation. I get but so for me, it's like I know how I stopped vaping. I haven't hit a vape in a long time. There's been like maybe 3 or 4 times where I was like, I kind of want to hit that, and I'm like, nah, you don't need it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, I don't need it. And then I don't need it, you know. But that's one of those. That's something that I've always had respect on. It's like knowing, like, I have. At the end of the day, like, it's not always people's fault because it's just the situation that you were put into, and natural instincts occur, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and then you get put. And now you're on it. Before you know it, you're on this ride, you're on this path, you're on this cruise, and you don't know. And then, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes it takes just a moment to be like, you're right. Or to be like, wait. And, maybe it's not, maybe don't need it. And you just take that moment and you change the thought process, the way you view it. And you just make those steps. I didn't quit in one day, and even when I really quit, it didn't it slowly happened, and I was like, boom, I'm done. And then it finally, like, whatever. And it's like, there's a lot of times where it was like you set yourself up to fail. You're like, I'm going to quit at midnight, but you just been ripping nicotine all day. Like, all day you've been having that influence. So all of a sudden, from 11:57, you're ripping it to 12 o'clock. Now all of a sudden, you're not going to rip it. Like, no. Like, you're gonna fail because you've been doing it all day. You want, your brain says do it, blah blah blah. But I think what works for me is like trying when I wake up the next day, trying not to do it. Like, I'm not gonna hit it today, and you go as long as you can, and then eventually you go the whole day, and then eventually you go 2 days, and then you go 3 days, and then now it's been, I don't know the amount of days, but it's been like, I don't remember, over a year, over maybe even 2 now. I can't remember 100% exactly how it aligned. Maybe it's between 1 and 2. I don't know. But it's gone. So now it's like, it's no longer like the day that I decided to go sober, the day that changed my life around. It was like, that moment I decided at some point that I'm not going to do it. And now I don't do it, and it's not overnight. But things can happen overnight. You can change the way you start your day overnight. You can change the way you think about something overnight. So now having this perspective, it's like, now how I view things is that I view them how I view them or whatever, and then as I grow, but I don't put like so much pressure on another individual to be like, you need to be doing this, you need to be whatever, you need to open your mind up, third eye, blah blah blah, you need whatever. I'm just like, I just suggest what I think, what I can suggest, and then and then the rest is just how I act, how I operate, what energy I give out, and whatever will be the end product, or will be like the story that's told at the end will be based off those interactions, those moments, who I was in the moments versus the individual acts or little thoughts here and there, or ideas that happen, or ideas that I think of and I create. It's going to be the overall longevity of just who I was and who I am, and what people remember me, and was how they felt when I was around, and vice versa with other people, how I felt when another person was around me. That's how I will view them, or that's how I That's how I be like, this is where you put them. If you're gonna rank people or like on a pedestal, I don't put anyone on a pedestal or whatever, but where you like, oh, he was a like he was great, a great human being, he was a great guy, great girl, you know, I love them versus like, oh, they were troubled or whatever, or damn, they were just they yeah, they were the trouble because it's really, you don't know everyone's life story, you don't know what everyone's been through or how situations happen, but we can see based on certain situations, whatever, people tend to go in certain directions based off environment, you know. So if it's known, then if you, in theory, people can create these environments to produce the things that they want, whether it's people who work hard or people who sit at a desk all day or people who, have limited options, so they have to pick one of these, and most of them lead into a negative direction, or you know, wrote people into a career that now before they know it, they're in this thing, and you're just like, oh, I'm just working for this company, but what's the company doing? And you just, so many things, like, at some point in time, cars were the biggest thing. Now sports are a big thing. Sports have always been a big thing, but most people you meet will talk about sports before they talk about cars, and then, but the phones and, different technologies and things like that. So there's so many ways to be able to shape people that if you're not careful, you might end up getting molded into this thing, and before long you become this thing, a version of yourself that you don't recognize because it's not really you, it's what they wanted you to be. And you allowed that outside influence to shape who you are and to influence the things that you do versus what you deep down know you are here to do or supposed to do, or the energy that you want, energy that you give off, like someone who, this is not a shot to anyone who does it, but like a Michael Jackson impersonator or whatever, instead of that person like singing, creating, making their own songs or whatever, they're impersonating, I'm Michael Jackson, but it's like, you're not Michael Jackson, you're who you are, and you can make great music too. You could, in theory, be bigger than Michael Jackson, but you'll only be this shadow of what Michael Jackson was because you're not Michael Jackson, but you are entering this thing and you playing a song and you're being him, right? So that's the metaphor of that. Like, if they want you to be Michael Jackson, they'll put you in boom, shape you like boom, here's Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson keeps on living and whatever, but now Rodney Johnson, who's supposed to be bigger than Michael Jackson, never is Rodney Johnson because he doesn't make his own music or whatever, because he just got molded into being Michael Jackson, So that was like the little metaphor there, but yeah, man. Crazy stuff. This visual is crazy. Just lights and space, and one of those ones where like you go in one and something else happens. Definitely some trippy shit. I always wonder how people really make it. I think I need to figure that out, or I would love to talk to someone who fucking graphic designer, whatever. I would love to talk to them and just see how they do it, what program they use, what goes into it, But overall, I feel better now. I feel good, honestly. I got some things out. I think this was a productive episode. Hopefully we get some compadres to come on here, or guests, a graphic designer, someone might see this, I don't know, to speak with here soon, so it's not always just me. But for now, I'm Indigo Ryan the Navigator. I hope I gave something inspirational or helped in some way, or was just a good listen for the little hour or whatever that this was. I hope that I influenced you in a positive way, and yeah, I feel better. I feel more accomplished. My goal for next week is to be on time Wednesday at noon. So we'll see. We'll see how we manage time to be able to do that and follow through with that. So that way it becomes part of the pattern and the rhythm and the circadian rhythm for me, knowing that finding a space for me to do it each week so that it does come out Wednesday at noon. And then if there's by chance we do more than one, then awesome, But for now, this one will come out on a Friday. That's okay. Any of you who watch it and who've gotten this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Comment anything, really. I'll be down to mention it and also give my thoughts. So, but for now, this is Ocean Waves, episode 55. Go stream Oceans on Arrival on all platforms. We're there. And much more coming soon. Better days ahead for sure. So thank you very much. Appreciate you watching. Catch you next time. Peace.